Rolling. Hello, Coconut. Hope you're doing wonderful today. I had a great time playing Borderlands with you a few hours ago. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to replace the fans on this GPU. This is a GPU, graphic processor unit. You can hear sound, the rattling of some of these tiny, focus you guy, tiny little Phillips head screws I've already removed from one of these fans here in the middle. I've been having some issues with this graphics card for a few months now. This is on one of my secondary computers. Sorry, it's on my secondary gaming computer. This is a 3070 Ti made by a company called EVGA. Let's see, does it say anything else about the card? I think it's an OC edition series card. I've had it for quite some time. I always felt that the 70 Ti series was the perfect gaming card that you can get. I have another system that has a 4080. And it's fantastic. It's good for video editing, and that's what I'll be editing the video on this on. If I can't get this to work. I feel like if you're going to build a gaming system, 3070 Ti or a 70 Ti, so 5070 Ti or whatever it may be by the time whoever's watching this, or if even graphics card are a thing, who knows? I feel like that's the perfect card for gaming. So been having some issues with this thing. I had these fans here were spinning. This one's, I'll kind of slide it down to here. These fans were spinning and they started making a grinding noise. This computer's been running more or less 24/7 for the last year or so. It's kind of like, it's been a work computer. It's been a kind of a gaming computer. It's been a real workhorse. But you know, fans continuously moving for that long, eventually they're going to fail. That's inevitable. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace these fans with another pair of fans that I bought on Amazon.com that say that they're the right ones. They look like the right ones. They passed the sniff test. They look like the same shape, same amount of blade count that I can tell. Even has EVGA logos on it. If I look at the back of this one in the middle, there you see it looks like it even has the same manufacturer. This is a brushless motor fan, even looks to be the same model number. I don't know if we can catch it on the camera, those two model numbers, but they appear to be the same. So you look right here, look right here. Okay. So let's begin our disassembly. I am going to stop the tape while I figure out how this comes apart. I have figured out that you can get access to through the blades. Let's slide our device over. You can get access to the screws right here. It's probably barely see it in this area where I'm pointing this thing right down here. You can barely see the screw there. You can get access to the screw. It seems to be the way to get access to it, but it does look like you still have to take off this outer shroud, is what I would call it, of this. This would be an ideal opportunity to switch this computer, or switch this, sorry, graphics card over to water cooling or a more advanced setup. But honestly, I don't want to bother with that. That's a whole mess of headaches that I don't want to look forward to. And so we're going to just swap the fans out. They all three died over a period of time. If they all died at the same time, I would assume it's something more common, but they all died over a period of time. So this one, I think, was the first one that went out, and this one finally grounded to a halt. And what was happening is whenever I get into a graphic intensive game, this is set up to glow the color of the temperature. This would go straight to red, and I get blue screen of death. So XC3, I think that's a software thing, but anyways, EVGA GeForce 3070 Ti. We're going to replace the fan. So let's go ahead and stop the camera, and we will connect after I have all the fans out, minus this one. We're going to continue recording on clip number 2 of this. Hopefully I will follow through with editing. And so what I'm doing is I'm kind of moving these fan blades out of the way, and that gives me access to the screws right here. I have not looked up any tutorials or guides on this. I'm sure there are some great ones out there. It feels pretty straightforward. This is the controller part of the board here. I can tell that all 3 fans are color coded, and if you look at that, my replacement fan, which I'm holding here, let me zoom out a little bit further. My replacement fan is color coded in the same way. So we got that to look forward to. I'm going to just pull these clips up. This one got broken, which is always fun, but that does mean it should just slide up. Let me get a straight screwdriver here. Sorry to assume my screwdriver's orientation, but let me get one right here. And let's see here. There's part of the controller. So let's see if we can pull that up and out. There we go. All right. So I've disconnected 3 of the fans right here. I still need to continue with removing the screws here on this part of it. We're going to go ahead and finish that up. To take the shroud out, I didn't have, I should say, the right connector or type of screwdriver. That would be. So I ordered from famous iFixit their set. I think this is called the 112-bit set. So hopefully that does have the right bit for this iFixit. It's not the sponsor of this video, but if they want to be, they can be. I do reckon at least one view from a amazing 7-year-old, which they grow up real fast. If you want to sponsor this and send me another one of these, I will give it away. Maybe to that amazing 7-year-old. So this is the box, the set. It's a bunch of, you see, look, they have kids working on stuff. That's great. It's nice. It's good to take things apart, figure them out. So we will discard this for a moment. And we're going to take our iFixit set here. And we're going to pop off the top. We have candy. This is great, wonderful candy. Says it right there. Do not eat. I'm joking. That is a joke. Do not eat this. This is poisonous. It says throw away. This is a moisture packet that they include to prevent moisture from accumulating inside the thing. So do not keep these. If you know what you're doing, you can keep them and dry them out again using an oven, and then use them for like foam repairs, but we're not going to do that. All right, so we got our precision set. We have 112 bits. We're going to continue with our disassembly of the device here, and then we will pick it up again in a moment. And we're back. Audio might sound better. I realized that my microphone was not plugged in. So I was using the camera audio for the first part of it. Hopefully this audio does sound better. I'm not going to re-record it. I feel like this video might drag on for a very long time anyways. I just want to have better sounding audio. As a former audio guy, I feel like audio is one of the most important things, even over video quality. If you go back and you look at some of the older movies, even when they were recorded on film, video quality wasn't as prevalent in every film, but good audio was. Okay, so we got to figure out which bit will fit this hole. And we're going to try this guy, see if this guy gives a look. Nope, we're going to go maybe a size smaller for this guy. That's the ticket. Usually get it on the second try. Okay, so we have this fan's screws are out. This fan still has a couple screws left in it. We're looking right there. Yep, okay, take our Phillips here. This is a pretty small Phillips. We're just going to kind of angle it just a little bit. You see it sticks. Oh, didn't I have you a little zoomed in? It sticks to our, boom, because they are magnetized, which is a lifesaver. Now, it comes to say that putting them back in might not be as fun as taking them out. Usually reassembly is a big part of the process, and it always involves with you coming out with less screws than you put in, or less fasteners than you put in. That's the old joke. It's always wonderful when you take a car apart because you always end up with free parts somehow. Yet the car still runs. Makes you think. You need all those parts. So this fan looks to be loose, and then we're down to our last fan here on my left. We're going to take this guy out here. Boom. Now, if I wanted to be extra due diligent for anyone taking notice, what I would have done, which I didn't do, is I'd actually double check the fans. Now, what I was saying earlier, if all three fans failed at the same time, the probability of that would be very minimal to experience. Unless there was some sort of universal global issue, then that would be high, or higher. But the probability of all three fans dying at the same time would actually be very few and far between. However, stuff like that does happen. What I am thinking is the fans just finally gave up after so many run hours. Again, this system that's running this is a i9 9900. So it's the 9 series. So if you want to know how old that is, the computer I built last was the 13 series, and the 9 is the 9th generation. They had the 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th. They have the 14th series out as filming this, and they're going to be coming out the 15th series. But 9900K was the top of the line consumer CPU, central processing unit. At the time that I built this computer, it originally was with a 2060. I think I had a 2060 in here. I like the 60 series cards. My first NVIDIA card, not my first NVIDIA card, but my first GT X card was a 660. And then they switched to the RTXs when they got into, I think, the 1300s. This is, or the 2000 series. That's right. The 2000 series was the first RTX, which means ray tracing. RTX says right here in the card. So you see that? We dropped our first fan. Let's see if we can turn it this way. Drop our second. We get her out. Oh, she's tangled on. And we might be able to get by with not having to take the shroud off. But I don't think we can, because if you look right here, down in here, there is like a metal catch. And I think that other one was on the side of it. This kind of travels under here. So, yeah, we're going to have to take that shroud off, which means a lot more screws and disassembly. But, yeah, no. Now, anytime you do have to take something apart, as my teachings have told me, oops, thank goodness for the belly, stopping that from falling away. Anytime you have to take something apart, my teachings tell me that's the perfect time to do complete system maintenance on the whole system. Make sure everything's up to stuff, up to scruff, whatever you want to say. So that's normally where we would also replace other components in a system, check solders, check endpoints, but this is a simple system that we're going to do. But we are going to visually inspect it, just make sure there's no clogging of the airflows off these fins. Doesn't look to be. All right, now here's the thing. You don't want to get your old ones confused with your new ones. Good lesson. It's happened, especially if you're replacing like for like. So we take a standard wax crayon and we just mark this. Now we know that all three of these are the old ones and that we need to get replace them with our ones that are unmarked. It's a trick. Also another trick, if you have a lot of connections, put a piece of tape, give it a letter or number, whatever your preference. Pick one, stick with it, and then you just basically match the numbers up. I used to do a lot of disassembly when I was working for a company that made high-end video matrices. I know many of you here stumbling across this might comment, say that this is not a good video, and I don't care because I'm doing it for one person only, and that is my coconut. So go to ifixit.com if you want a proper guide. I'm not doing it. You look at these screws, they have blue on them. That means they got like a Loctite type thing. I don't know if we can catch that. I also got blue on the side of my hand from, I think, rubbing on the card. We're going to take those out. And again, we're going to drop these together. These are different screw head types, so I'm not worried about them getting mixed up. We are just dropping them in the same cup. I would normally section my cup off A, B, C, and then I would probably go to D or something, and then work my way backwards. So to the A's, the B's, the C's. Really good friend of mine named Donald Post actually taught me to take photos as you take things apart. He used to do a lot of fine disassemblies of like automotive systems and stuff like that, where you have parts and all that sort of stuff, but we're gonna have to say that guy's gone forever. So we're gonna be one down when we put this back together. But it'll show up later. So okay, so we have, looks like we have two here on the sides, and then the shroud should lift off. I'm not seeing any other like double adhesive tape or anything like that. It might allude us to it being adhered to. Yeah, see, that's already lifting up, and I bet there's probably two on this side. And I'm not noticing anything on the front. I don't see any connections. Double check in. So hopefully if we take this out and the other one out, that shroud just comes right off. I don't see anything important about the shroud itself. It does just look like it's maybe there to, you know, kind of direct air across the fans themselves, kind of keep it tunneled. I don't really see anything that would make it want to be adhered down. Okay, so we're going here. It looks like we're a little stuck here. We're not going to crank on it. Move that out of the way. Can we get out of it? Yeah, we can actually cheat it. If we do this, we don't even need to take it all the way off, which is always a win. Because look, looks like we got to our fans. There might be a couple in here. Might be, it looks like it's right there. There's another one. So we don't have to, because look, we can kind of get it up there. Means we can get our fans out, our bad ones. We're gonna go left to right. Ignore that. Put those in our trash bin. And then we are going to take this guy out here. And we are going to see our guy right there. Excellent. We got our three fans. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay. Looks nice. All right, now we're going to talk about reordering. It was pretty self-explanatory. Went from black to brown to blue. So we're going to reassemble those and have a little chat. Maybe about Borderlands 2, my favorite game. If you have a favorite game, tell me what it is and why it is in the comments below. If you got this far in the video, I always like hearing why someone's favorite game is their favorite game versus what their favorite game is. My favorite game It's called Borderlands 2. Why? Well, I first played Borderlands when I was with my friend named Donald. And I really loved the gunplay in it and the fact that it was like super random on like what you could get. Just kind of like a general looter, shoot 'em looter, that sort of style game. Let's make sure we get these orientated the right way. Okay, yes. Okay, yeah, we're good. So I really fell in love with Borderlands 1. I played it a lot. I beat it quite a few times. And then whenever Borderlands 2 came out, I was super excited. I wanted to play it with one of my other friends. So I bought it for my other friend. We played it. I played a lot of it. Then he sold his copy, and then I got another friend that got into it. And essentially, I've gotten a lot of people in it all the way up until I got my son into it, who was playing as a Zero. He's doing a really good job at it. I'm so proud of him, actually. Very proud of him. He's doing a really good job on it. He's got to listen, though. He's got to use that melee attack up close. He's doing a really good job. This is his first, like, big boy game, I would say. He plays Roblox, but, you know, Roblox is Roblox. We're going to see if we can somehow get that in there, because we're having a little difficulty with getting those screws in here. I'm not going to reveal all my secrets. I can reveal some of them if I have to. So we just need to go and set the screw in the hole. And then, actually, we might have to take that shroud off. It looks like it just popped off. Okay, let's make it a little easier for ourselves. So, pull that down, get our screw back. And yeah, it looks like that shroud is just pretty much cosmetic. I am going to put it back because it does have the light diode for the card readout. I do like having that. I use that as on the EVGA cards. You can set that to reflect what your card temperature is, so we know that we're staying within good thermals. I started seeing it hit orange and red. And I don't really play super advanced games. I started playing Star Citizen with another buddy of mine from high school. I've known for a very long time. Wonderful gentleman by the name of Ryan. Ryan, I was playing it with him, and all of a sudden my game crashed. And I was like, okay, that's weird. All right, and I get back and rejoin, and it's just like starts stuttering. That's when I looked down and saw the fans were not moving. I knew one of the fans quit a while ago, but I kind of just said, well, you know, I don't want to go through the headache of disassembling and everything. So I kind of let it slide. And it's only really on those higher end games where the GPU gets pushed. This is a good GPU. It's 2025 right now. You know, I'm not playing games at 4K. Well, that's actually not technically true. I am playing games at widescreen version of 4K, 3440 by 1440 resolution. So it's kind of 4K. I came from the professional AV world, so we would always say 4K's DCI, 4K 4096 by 2400 or 2160 if you want to do a 17 by 9. But most of you, I'm probably talking gibberish. And also, kind of gave up that career after 10 years of doing AV. Taking a break. It's good. You know, trying to find out what I want to do with my life after turning 40. I got to help grow a company from 0 million to 25 million, and then it just kind of turns into a big corporation. They hire all new people. That comes that sort of headache. But I'm happier, I tell myself. I do miss some of my friends there. Big shout out to Marty. Big shout out to Sinks. All the good guys. Okay, so anyways, back to the story. So yeah, Coconut's doing really well on Borderlands 2. He has a 0 build. We're level 13 right now. And he's kicking butt. We just defeated Wilhelm. The screw is not wanting to magnetize. We'll kick that problem down the road. Try a new one. Get to stick on here. If I had a magnet, I could remagnetize this. What you got to kind of do is just kind of get the screw where you can drop this baby right in here. Isn't that great? Okay, so here we're gonna go. There's always this here. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, so we're not doing so. There we go. Ah, come on. It's a little small, guys. Might have to show you guys my trick, which I might just do right now. Okay, so we're going to do a little trick. So we have to get this screw kind of wedged in through here. It's going to be a game of operation. I have shaky hands, so my trick, which is pull this thing out. See if I got anything in here that might suffice. I'm looking through my drawers for those of you on camera. Yeah, we're going to return 1 second here. I have that. So we're going to pause this. We're going to return. I'm going to show you my little stick. Actually, I don't have to do that. Sorry. Forgot I had painter's tape. All right. So we just need to set this in here. It's a little trick. Take this painter's tape, roll it backwards. You got double-sided tape. Take yourself an appropriate flat screwdriver that can fit in the area. And this is a little simple. Put that on there. Wrap it around. So we got a little sticky surface. This is where we just take the little sticky surface and stick it to that little sticky surface. See? Boom. That's a trick that I found that usually works. Trying to feed something in there. And it's usually not sticky enough that once you drop it in the hole and you kind of pull back, it kind of just falls off, especially with painter's tape. Painter down. Boom. We got 2 of the 4 screws. Now I have to repeat this for all of these. So fast forward in the video if you want to see more. Just repeating the screws back, but I'm going to put a little tape around this to kind of hold it on there. Boom. Now hold that on there a little bit better. Nope. I'm going to take that down. All right. So there. We're going to spin that guy around. Find our screw spot right there. Okay. All right. So we're going to put that guy into here. Uh-oh. Yeah. There we go. Now this card is under warranty, but I'm going to just replace it myself. I've dealt with warranties before. I ran warranty departments. They're all a bunch of garbage for the most part. So if you can figure out what the issue is and fix it yourself, as long as it's non-intrusive, taking a few fasteners out and putting a few fasteners back, it's not that big of a deal. But if you can replace it yourself, do it. Sometimes it's just quicker, better. It's not worth the headache. But always take advantage of your warranty if you have one. Never be afraid to call them up. Say, hey, pal, how you been? Having some issues. Be really nice. There's a book I'm going to recommend everyone to read. I'm going to recommend my son to read. It's about the FBI's most wanted hacker, Kevin Mitnick. It's a book he did called The Art of Intrusion, which is his first book. He made another one called The Art of Exploitation or something like that. The Art of Intrusion was the first book that he had that covered how to socially social engineering, basically. Talking to people on the phone with authority saying, hey, you know, this is what's going on, that sort of stuff. And then it not being really true. You'd be surprised how far confidence will get you. Kids call it Riz. It's actually called confidence. You'll be surprised how far confidence will get you in things. This guy is not wanting to go to your home. There he goes. Got him finally to drop. Grab our Phillips. We got her to set. Turn left to get it to set on top of the screw, then turn right to tighten. Just left a little bit, then right. You don't want to turn it left a lot, so we're going to spin. Okay, well, I don't know why it's making... Let's see here, make sure we got all our screws set. Let's see here. This have a little bit of a click to it. Let's see if make sure our fans are not touching anything. Yep, right there. I see. So it's very, very, very tight tolerance. Come on. That needs to lay flat, doesn't it? Okay. Yeah, see, that's very tight tolerance. That's interesting that they would do that. I wonder if that's what ended up happening, is this tolerance on the bearing kind of just gave out, causing this to kind of float down and rub, and then the rub burned out the motors, because it does hang upside down. Yeah, see, now it's like we hear. Okay, just make sure there's no rubbing. Good. And we'll go ahead and place our card into here. We're just gonna kind of coil that back. I think that's good. So here we're gonna do our end. And then we're gonna go here, here, here. I'm gonna put that down. Boom. So we got that clear. It's on both sides, on the sides. Okay, perfect. Fan number 1 done. We're going to go to the second one. Repeat the process. Kevin Mitnick also had a book called Ghost in the Wire. It's the autobiography of him, where he basically, his curiosity got the best of him, and he learned how to socialize with people, which is the most dangerous kind of hacker there is. Someone who can talk to people. A lot of nerds, so to speak, can't actually speak to anyone. They're all introverts or whatever it may be, and so they go to reading books and tech things, and they figure out scams. But Kevin Mitnick was one person that people were very fearful of, because he could actually call you up and convince you to give you the password. That's the ultimate hacker, versus people who use phishing scams and that sort of stuff, or scam centers. It's also my daily reminder to remind you that I nor anyone should be asking you for money. I'm not making any money off of this. I'm doing this for free. If you see anyone in the comments saying they're me, asking for money, that's not true. It's not me. I would never do that. I'd ask you in person if I needed money from you, which I don't. So just be on the lookout for it. Also, you guys may get calls every once in a while from people saying that the police, the FBI or whatever, they're going to come after you. Just to let you know, the police or the FBI will not call you in advance, let you know that they're coming after you. They will just come after you. So, 2 things. 1, if anyone tries to get you to go in a lone place to talk to them, don't do it. They're doing that to convince you to get away from other people that, like me, that would say that's a scam, hang up, ignore them. They don't want you to hear someone saying that, because then you'll question their fear tactics, which is to try to convince you, that you're in trouble, and the only way to save yourself from getting arrested is to send the FBI $400 in Amazon gift cards. As ridiculous as that sounds. I mean, I'd say in 2025 it sounds ridiculous, but you know, who knows? if Jeff Bezos doesn't own the world by the time you watch this video, or if even Jeff Bezos is a thing. You will never get a call from a police department in advance. The only time they will call you is if they're like, hey, can you come down and have a chat with us at the police station? If a cop ever tries to talk to you, we do not talk back, because a police officer's job is to collect evidence and arrest people. There's a wonderful book, or video clip I will tell people go watch, open up in their tabs, called Don't Ever Speak to the Police Ever, in which a Harvard lawyer, I believe he was from Harvard, told the police, or told the class, explained why you don't talk to the police, and he even brought a counter argument. He brought a police officer there. At the very top of the hour, he said, Mr. Police Officer, whatever your name is, Detective, whatchamacallit, how many times has someone talked themselves out of getting arrested in your illustrious career of 30, 40, whatever years? And he said 0. So the only thing that you're getting when you talk to the police is evidence used against you. That's why when you're arrested, it says you have the right to a lawyer. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Can and will be used, can be used against you. It will be used against you. And to quote one of my wonderful, most beautiful friends, Nancy, which I hope that you get to meet Coconut one day. Nancy always say, the hardest part of any lawyer's job is not passing the bar. It's not studying for the exams. It's not memorizing all the stuff. The hardest part for any lawyer is to get their client to shut up. To shut up. Like, to just be quiet. Let them do the talking. They know the laws. You might not. Do not talk to the police. If the police say, I want to talk to you. You say, I don't have anything to say. They say, if they're like, oh, where were you? Where are you coming from? I don't have to answer your questions. And go about your day. They're like, oh, you can't leave? Let's say, am I being arrested? Am I being detained? They say, oh, you're being detained? You say, okay, I want to talk to a lawyer. You don't resist arrest. You don't fight it. Don't fight them. Don't bother. But the reason why I tell everyone to listen to Kevin Mitnick, he some really great stories about where he was wiretapping the police that were wiretapping him. When they broke into his house, when they came to his house, he had donuts saying, these are for the FBI. That's when they knew they were in trouble, because he was actually smart. A lot of criminals do come across as stupid because they're committing crimes, but some criminals are like people like Bernie Madoff, and they get away with it forever. Some criminals got made our president. I had a conversation with Luca Coconut about how are criminals bad? It's a very complex question, because are criminals bad? Well, let's define a crime, right? Is a criminal who jaywalks bad, or do they break a random city ordinance? Are they a bad person? Is a criminal who commits murder a bad person? I would say yes to the latter, and I say the first one, there's really no crime for that. Sometimes crimes are invented to make money. The second police departments got quotas is the second we no longer became a nation that cares about right or wrong, just cares about making money, which is very sad. But I guess it's inevitable for every place. So we're almost done with the second fan. I am getting some dragging on this, but I think when I fasten that down, it's going to also clear it as well, because it looks like it was dragging on this. And that makes me kind of wonder if it was this screws that kind of worked their way. They don't have Loctite on them. I would put some Loctite on them if I had it. I don't have any, so we're just going to have to run it raw. It makes me wonder. See here the makes me wonder if what actually happened was these screws just kind of worked their way loose, and it just caused some drag. Did you hear that? Hear the drag? No drag? Drag. So we got to figure this out. So we're going to go around here. Push that and push that down there. Okay. Hear how smooth that is? No drag, no drag. So yeah, I wonder if these screws just happen to come loose and it just kind of pushed up against. Let's look at one of our other fans. Just kind of pushed up against it right here. And I bet we could probably tell if we looked at this fan, if we looked at the place where the screw is, if there's any materials moved. No, it doesn't look like it. Let's put that here. Put that here. And I'll put this over here. Sorry. I took my cup apart because I have this double-sided tape I was going to use. But this tape's a lot better because it's not as sticky. So, 2-2. I always want to check just to make sure I'm not getting those messed up. Okay, so we're going to kind of get our fan in here. Hopefully we got enough tolerance and clearance. I have to push something up and back out of the way. And we do not. All right. Wow. Okay. I should plug this in right now just to see if our fans start firing up and spinning before I do the headache of doing the last one. But we're going to just do the last one. Let's just do it all. Chance it. There's a lot of tests that you can do or you should do before you determine that it is what the root cause is before you replace it. I remember when I was telling my friend Ryan, really good friend of mine, still angry that he beat me at Tekken back when we were in 4th grade or 8th grade, 7th grade, something like that. Known him for so long. He's a great guy, really great guy. Anyways, Ryan, he's like, well, you sure it's this? You sure it's that? Here's one thing about Ryan. Ryan knows what he's talking about. When I was having issues with the computer, it's randomly reboot. Ryan said, you know, I've had that problem before, and I think you might want to check your memory, run a memory test. What I said, I was like, man, I never thought about that because I've built many computers. My first computer was a 330, no, it was AMD K62. I wanted the K63 because it had extra cache. It was like the more souped up version, but I could only afford the K62. And so I've been, and this was back when they had the NVIDIA GT cards. So I've been building computers for a minute, back when you had to set BIOSes. And so that's Ryan. And Ryan goes, sounds like a memory card issue. Or not memory card, sorry, RAM issue. It sounds like you got a dead RAM stick. I was like, I've never had a stick of RAM go bad. Ever. Never had that happen. I was like, oh, that's weird. So I tell Ryan, I'm like, oh, I don't know. He's like, yeah, just try it. So to run a memory test, you have to run it multiple times. And it takes hours to complete a memory test. I'm like, all right. The computer was just randomly just dumping the blue screen, just failing. Couldn't figure out why it was doing that. So, if all else fails, I ran a memory test. And the thing is, when you run a memory test, there's a process to do it because it takes so long. What I wanted to do is I ran the test. I had 4 sticks of RAM. I ran the test with all 4 sticks of RAM. I think they were 16, 32. Yeah, so it's 64 gigs of RAM. So I ran it with all 4 in. And all 4 in, it came across, failed. Okay, so here's the thing. Which one actually failed? It doesn't tell you. So I go, well, I could take them all out but one and run it, or I can cut it in half. So I ran it with 2 sticks in. If it passes with this, then my issue is in these 2 sticks. I picked out 2 sticks at random, or channel 1, and so 0 and 2, I think is how they do it, because you have to do every other one, at least on that motherboard. Took out 2 sticks, boom, failed. I'm like, okay, well, it's one of these 2 sticks. So I ran it a 3rd time, pulled 1 stick out, and it passed. So I take the stick out, I put all 3 sticks in, because I just need to know it passes. I don't need to prove that one is failed again, because it's failed through twice in that test. So I took I put all the sticks in and took the thing out, and then I just ran the test one last time a couple days later, because I just need to get my computer up and going, just for safekeeping. You know, we're gonna swap this guy around here, and it passed. So this guy, thought I had it right. Start to question myself. Okay, so why are we kind of acting like we're stuck? Hang on a second here, folks. Okay, we got one in there. Okay. Oh, got two of these. Got two. I may end up making two of these little things. So I'm just used to it. So let's swing that guy over here. So yeah, Ryan was 1,000,000% right. It was the memory that fell. And I ended up being completely wrong, which is okay. It's okay to be wrong. And I did have a memory stick fall. And you know, up until that point, I never had a memory stick that ever died. And then that just happened to be the one. Something doesn't happen till it does, as they say. You know, they always say something's impossible until it isn't. Something doesn't happen till it happens. Okay, so we are going to forego putting the shroud on for a test. You know what? Actually, we're going to put the shroud on for a test. I think that's actually a great idea. I think if it doesn't work there, then we got a whole box of problems ahead of us, and we'll save it for another video. Put it right there. When you're doing troubleshooting, it's always good to put your system, whatever, down to the most minimalist possibilities. I was saying a couple times earlier, these fans started to go out. My final test, as I was telling Ryan was questioning, he's like, "Are you sure it's the fans? Because that's kind of weird." And I was like, well, it'd be weird if they all quit at the same time, right? Because then it's the most common thing among them. It'd be scary because it'd be a controller on here. Have to hot rod some sort of fan control. But they've been dying over a period of time. This one went out, and this one's still struggling. I started this one making that click sound, the kind of like what you hear right there. I think what happens is when it's upside down, it's going to drop down a little bit. But I went in and manually controlled the fans, and after the last one finally went kaput, and I just turned the fans manually up in the software. No movement. So there we go. There we go. Boom. Drop that guy in there. That trick, by the way, is really good. Just double side tape on like a little flat screwdriver, and it allows you to just kind of drop it in the hole. Once you drop it in, just kind of drag it back. Now I have to be careful because I keep kind of pulling them out when I touch it with this because it's magnetized. If I had a magnet here, I could show you how to magnetize and demagnetize. Okay. Nope. Nope. It's got to click. Okay. Let's figure this out. Okay. Why? Yeah, see, that tolerance is so bonkers. They really could have done a much better job on this. Let's turn her upside down. Let's see if that gravity is our friend. We're listening for, put this up to the speaker. Clicking. Oh. Yeah, so the fans, pull out our thing here. The fan has a little bit of a play. Let's get our thing right here. So we're looking at the back of this. This is the motor. This is the front of the fan with the fan shrouds on it. But it just has a little play. When it's upside down, that play gravity kind of pulls it apart and gives it a little bit more tolerance. Tolerance that wasn't required because I couldn't imagine them just doing this a better way. And you know, actually a more efficient way. I don't know. I would imagine that like giving yourself an extra millimeter of clearance would affect the thermal abilities of the fan, because all this is just sucking the air off of it. I understand, like, if it's like significantly further away, yeah, you probably can't create enough of a vacuum to pull the hot air off of the fins, but it being this close, that's just ridiculous. That's just unnecessary. We want to call that bad design. Whoever designed this on this particular card and said it was cool, la shame on la you. That's okay though. Gives us an opportunity to talk to Coconut. I'm struggling with this. I'm trying to be careful as I don't want to bend a pin. It's always fun. Let's bring her up this way. Probably be easier. Yeah. Sometimes you just got to change your view. So I'm going to go right here. I'm going to grab my screwdriver to assist. I want to be careful to make sure I'm not bending any of these wires here. There we go. Got it right here. And we're going to hit lock. Okay, so it's setting up. These are down. That's up. There we go. Clock it in. Okay, so boom. We're going to put our shroud back on, which is this guy. Goes over here. This is the back end of the shroud. It says EVGA. I actually really like EVGA. And I've had great success with EVGA. I've bought Asus cards. I've inherited cards from really a lot of manufacturers. But EVGA is my favorite. And I always felt like their software is just solid. Card builds seem to be pretty solid. I know I'm working on one, and I know that's not what you normally do. If you recommend a card, you have to work on them. But yeah, I like EVGA. I think like if I were to have this card run a little bit more powerful, doesn't need to. I don't play. I think I play Cyberpunk. I have the other system which has a 4080, which is the next generation and the next tier up of cards. I play Cyberpunk at 4K and HDR, and I think I have it at 120 frames a second. So I got it all maxed out, and it runs beautifully smooth. And that computer has 128 gigs of RAM. This one only has 64. That computer is a balling computer. Anyways, yeah, that's cool. It's fun. It looks pretty. Game's too complex for me. I actually really enjoy older games. We're talking about Borderlands. I love Far Cry 5 is my favorite. Far Cry 5 has to be my second favorite game. Borderlands 2, number 1. Borderlands 2 has the best villain. I don't care what you think. You're wrong if you don't think Handsome Jack is the best villain. The reason why the Borderlands franchise is kind of dog poopy right now, we're waiting for Borderlands 4 to be released, and I'm excited. We're going to get it day one. Coconut and I, we're going to play it. The reason why we're waiting on Borderlands 4. Yeah, that tolerance is bothering me. I don't get it, man. That's crazy. But we're waiting on Borderlands 4. But Borderlands 2 is where they peak because they had the best villain, Handsome Jack. He makes a perfect mix of sarcasm and that sort of humor, which then makes it's perfect. It's just the perfect villain when you're thinking about like a villain. Then they try to make they were gonna make Borderlands 3, but I don't know the complete story. They made Borderlands the pre-sequel. Played it. Didn't really care for it. Wasn't really that good. And it had this whole like area where you had to like stay in to breathe, and I just felt like it wasn't that good of a game, to be honest with you. I just didn't really vibe with it. Put a few hours into it. I think I beat it
twice. Pretty sure I beat it once. It was very anticlimactic. And in fact, actually, the CEO of the company that makes Borderlands came out and said, yeah, we learned a lot from that. So they made Borderlands 3, and they tried to kind of bring back Handsome Jack because they knew that that's kind of like the best thing they've ever done, and it went kind of poorly. Sorry. Yeah, this is my card, so I don't have to say I'm sorry. Make sure we don't have any loose parts. So they made Borderlands 2, kind of mimic Jack, and it was so. Better gun mechanics, though. I will have to say that. Better gun mechanics, better graphics. You can slide, I believe, and do some cool stuff. So I'm excited to play that with Coconut. Our hand of approval. So we're gonna put this guy in. Yeah. So that's the end of that. They are coming out with Borderlands 4, which is, I'm super excited. I get super kind of nerdy about the Borderlands series, as you probably heard. I'm excited for Borderlands 4. No, I didn't watch the Borderlands movie. I was happy to report that our project was a success. You see we have 3 fans down here, not spinning. We're gonna log in. I saw them spin on the startup, so not too worried about doing this live, but we're gonna log in here to our computer. Put it under a little stress. I'm gonna open up the software. I crank those babies. And look at that, guys. Fan replacement was successful. We have all 3 fans running right now at 100%. Cooling that CPU down. Right now it's blue. I'm gonna run the software like a temperature monitor. Yeah, it's put out a lot of coolant, so these fans work really well. I think it was just acting up, so that's it. We are done. This is the system. I don't have the side panel on, but this is my one of my systems. If you want a real quick tour of it, down here at the bottom, I have a RAID card. I know it's a little dusty. That's my GPU. This is my pump. It's from, I don't know, Kraken or somebody, but it's got 3 of these big fans for it. I'll show you the other system I built, which I think is better, but what's more impressive about this one is all the hard drives I had. I have so much that I actually have to have a dedicated controller for all the hard drives, NVMEs and all that sort of stuff. So I think this thing's gonna run again for another 10 years. Maybe it'll be a hand-me-down. I don't know. Who knows? Computers will be probably super whatever by then. But anyways, thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe.